In the vast wilderness of British Columbia, wolves are kings, apex predators, respected by conservationists. But these days, many fear what they could do. Wolves are hunting a species of caribou to the brink of extinction. And as Chris Brown explains, that's prompted a controversial measure from the BC government, what some are calling a war on the wolf. A warning to our viewers, some may find some of what follows hard to watch.
In British Columbia's northeast, there's blood in the snow.
But if you look here, a blood trail. And look at this.
It's the blood of a predator that's become the prey.
Look at that, eh?
Over the next month, the BC government plans to kill almost 200 wolves in the BC Rockies using sharpshooters in helicopters. They've been labeled a menace, with the potential to wipe out imperiled herds of mountain caribou. But the decision has reignited a fierce debate over whether it's ethical to try to save one species by killing another, and whether wolves are unfairly paying the price for the actions of people. Wolves are at the very top of nature's food chain and aren't considered threatened or endangered in BC.
Hey, big guy, come here.
Shelley and Casey Black have made it their life's work to understand wolf behavior. At their property near Golden, BC, they invite others to share their passion and even take a walk with wolves.
Well, we're in the Blaeberry Valley, and we're walking with the blonde one is Dave, Scrappy Dave, and the dark one behind us is Maya. So they are Dave.
There's no threat here, just curiosity.
Oh!
Scrappy Dave and Maya were both born in captivity. To the Blacks, the wolf call is abhorrent.
It pisses us off. It's unethical. It's not needed. And the way that they're doing it is barbaric. In this day and age, we shouldn't be treating animals like this at all.
Now, for them to go out and shoot a wolf from a helicopter, are you going to do a kill shot every time? I doubt it.
Wolves hunt in packs and typically prey on moose or deer. This scene was caught on camera in Alaska, and the young moose didn't make it. Caribou haven't traditionally been part of their diet, but the high mountain areas where caribou live have been opened up to recreation and development, and wolves have literally followed in those tracks.
Well, look where that wolf's walking right now. And then, you'll see they tend to stay in this trail because it's easy to walk. So when snowmobilers snowmobile to the very tops of mountains where woodland caribou are living in the upper alpine, the wolves can follow those tracks. It's a highway.
The BC government's caribou recovery strategy says wolves are responsible for roughly 40% of caribou deaths, and that entire herds could be wiped out unless something's done to stop the wolves.
It's just a last-ditch effort to show we're trying to do something.
I think there's other methods to consider, and shooting one species to save another species is ludicrous.
Caribou are one of Canada's iconic animals. They're featured on the Quarter, and you'll find caribou across the country, notably in large migrating herds in the north and also in the vast boreal forests. Mountain caribou, however, are far less numerous. Caribou aren't easy to track. This one-of-a-kind video was taken with cameras and radio collars around their necks. In the summer, they live high in the ranges of the Rockies, coming down lower in the winter to feed on lichens, and many of those animals are in a precarious state. In BC's Selkirk Mountains, the herd declined from 46 animals to just 18 over the past 5 years. Further north in the Peace region, 4 herds are on the brink of annihilation. One of them, the Moberly herd, went from 190 animals 20 years ago to just 22 now. And the Burnt Pine herd has just 1 caribou left. Biologist Scott MCNAY is among those who argue for drastic intervention.
I think it's not right to sit back and say, let them go. We don't have that right. We put populations in this place. So we have to make it happen.
MCNAY works out of Mackenzie, BC, and from here, he's been overseeing a remarkable effort on behalf of the caribou to keep the wolves at bay. This past spring, MCNAY and other biologists captured some of the pregnant caribou in the area to try to protect them. They netted the animals from above and then brought the tranquilized caribou via snowmobile to a specially built pen in the mountains.
So the whole idea behind the penning program was to protect the cows and their newborn calves through the maternity period.
They captured 10 caribou in total, and in the safety of that enclosure, the animals had their calves. Then in July, the scientists released them all, and the wolves were waiting.
Wolves managed to get 1 cow and 3 calves as soon as they're released, about 2 kilometers away from the pen.
So they were just waiting for them, were they?
Well, I think wolves were just doing what wolves do.
But even if every caribou had survived, the biologists knew the penning project wouldn't be enough on its own. So, in January, the BC government pulled the trigger on a wolf cull. And not for the first time. This is very rare footage of an aerial cull in BC in the 1980s when several hundred wolves were shot from the sky in a successful attempt to try to strengthen deer and moose populations. Killing wolves now will undoubtedly save some caribou, but how many years does it take, and how much can herds really recover? Some of the answers may be next door in Alberta. Since 2006, for 8 years, that province has hunted down, shot, or poisoned almost 900 wolves in a similar effort to save the mountain caribou.
The best we can say is that the evidence appears that that's stabilized the population. It has not recovered them.
CAROLYN Campbell is with the Alberta Wilderness Association. Her conservation group once supported a wolf cull, but not anymore.
Soon after 2005-06, when the wolf kill started, it became very clear that the habitat protection to accompany it was not happening, that the government was actually not pulling back on logging and was not reducing energy's footprint. In fact, the opposite was happening. So at that point, we decided this is a completely unethical approach to only scapegoat wolves. They're the symptom, they're not the cause, and do nothing about the habitats.
British Columbia's government says 90% of the mountain caribou habitat in the Peace region will now be protected from any development. Recreational activities like snowmobiling will be banned in some areas, and industrial projects will be designed with caribou recovery in mind. For the First Nations community of West Moberly, which is a partner in the caribou penning project, the fate of wolves and caribou hits close to home.
They just seem to be everywhere. You can hear them howling at nighttime.
Forest manager George Desjardins carries his rifle every trip into the bush just in case he sees a wolf. Other West Moberly community members are helping with the cull.
A wolf is a wolf. Another moose eater down.
On the ground, they're using traps and snares. It's not pretty work, but Desjardins believes it is necessary.
Because these caribou, we hope one day will feed our people again.
How hopeful are you that this will work?
I'm pretty hopeful it will. We don't really know if it will, but we got to try something because nothing else seems to be working.
At the Wolf Sanctuary in Golden, SHELLEY and Casey Black say there is another option. Let the weak caribou herds die and focus on keeping the healthy herds healthy.
It takes 100 years for the forest to restore itself. So for those caribou to survive in that little area for the next 100 years for it to regenerate itself is impossible. You can shoot every wolf and they're still going to disappear.
The BC government has confirmed to CBC News the wolves to be killed this year are just the first. There's a 5-year plan in place to conduct a cull, protect the caribou, and restore the habitat. So, it's likely the blood on the snow this winter is just the beginning. Chris Brown, CBC News, near Chetwynd, BC.